Hello, Renee Flamond here. You guys, this topic is such a hot button of mine and has been for years that I've kept it off Friday off topic because I get so enraged with bullying. Enraged. And I wrote a couple of articles back to back in 2013 on the blog I used to keep. And I'm going to refer to this one because I've reread it and it's exactly how I still feel today. But the examples are dated because this is from 2013. But I'm going to go through it, not read it, but I'm going to refer to it and talk to you about it. And maybe we can I don't understand bullying. I don't understand it. I used to envision myself, and I stopped myself because I get very mad. And I thought, that's not a good idea. But I envisioned myself at one point in my life having a forum where I would have an assembly and go around to middle schools and high schools and try to nip it in the bud from an early age and try to call a bully up on stage and have everyone in the audience try to point them out and bring them up. And what did I think I was going to do? Interrogate a child? Why are you a bully? Why are you doing that? But my question is always the same thing. Who does a bully think that they are? I just cannot, and I've never gotten a good answer. I don't understand who it is in their mind they think they are when they're doing the bullying. And you have a billion examples in your life. We can go off fictional movies or we can go with the list I've made right here, okay? And I'll try to speak clearly the words. So if you want to look up any of these stories to familiarize yourself, you can Google them, okay? But just a short list. This was in 2013. This is just a short list from back then that came to my mind, okay? Rex Reed, remember him? He bullied Melissa McCarthy because of her weight. Really? That's where we still are, bullying people because they're overweight? She makes me laugh out loud to myself beyond. And you're going to bully her because of her weight? She had 2 kids? Okay. The staff, teachers at school, because Noah Kilpatrick, age 15, was Canadian. This was in upstate New York. They kept making digs to him about being Canadian. And one article I read, I remember it said, no 15-year-old should question their validity because they're getting downgraded by teachers, making fun of how he dressed or making fun of he tried to use Canadian coin to buy lunch and they made a big thing in the assembly. Don't do this. I mean, it was just, okay? The schoolmates of Audrey Pott, 15 years old, raped, and then they spread public pictures of the assault. She hung herself. Rhea Parsons, 17, also raped, also publicly humiliated, also hung herself. If I recall, I think she died in a coma later. Certainly the Laramie boys, to the very famous story, Matthew Shepard, 21 years old, because he was gay. Beat to death. These are hard things to hear, but I want to start out this way. Jaden Bell, 15, because he was gay, attempted to hang himself, resulting in death weeks later. The children to Karen Klein, the 68-year-old grandmother on the school bus. Remember that heartbreaking story? Look that up. She's a grandmother. The very famous Brandon Tina, 21, made famous by Hilary Swank playing her in the movie because she lived her life as a man and was gay. She was raped, beaten, and murdered. Boys Don't Cry. Very hard movie to watch. The whole world to Kim Kardashian because her feet were swollen when she was pregnant. That's where we are? You're going to make fun of a pregnant woman's swollen feet. Again, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Many people to Tom Cruise because he jumped on the couch on the Oprah show. He was all happy about being in love with Katie Holmes. He jumped on the couch. Well, that became a meme and a joke as popular as the Will Smith thing is going to become, with him slapping Chris Rock that we talked about last week. It became so popular. Tom Cruise jumps on a couch. Guess what? He's still Tom Cruise and you're not. And I don't mean money. I mean he's Tom Cruise. He's delivered movie after movie after movie for over 35 years this man's been entertaining us. But you're going to bully him because he had one moment of excitement and jumped on her couch. Why? Who do you think you are? Hell, the witches of Salem, circa 1692, I almost said 1962, executed viciously, if you look that up, on the word of bullies. The girls in the town, political, she's a witch, she's a witch. It was all bullying. Started the whole thing. The list is endless, and I am livid. We are losing our teenagers to murder, to suicide, and I plead with any and all bully victims to remember a few very vital things. It is temporary. It will pass. They have no power over you. And they're not even worthy of your presence. Never mind your life. Do not give them your life. The bully will get theirs. Karma is an ever on the prowl lunatic. You will persevere. And I want you to consider the source. Bullies are losers. Every single one of them. High school does end. Please do not execute a permanent solution to a temporary problem. I beg you. Consider your parents. Consider your siblings. Your whole life ahead of you. Let the experience empower you. Grow up to make effective changes to help victims in the future. You could become a policeman. You could become a lawyer, a doctor, a teacher, an excellent parent. Any and all of which can have a profoundly constructive effect on bullies in our future. Now, to those of you who bully, the vermin, the pond scum, and I don't necessarily think that people in our audience are bullies, but maybe you want to share this video with somebody who you know is a bully. Maybe you want to share this video with someone you know who's being bullied. The ignorant, the wicked, the trash, the worthless, the disposable, the evil, lowest form of human. I implore upon any one of you bullies. And again, I just always will have the question, who do you think you are? Who? Like, what is it in your simple yet obviously empty minds that leads you to possibly think in a million years, in any universe, that you have something, anything, over anyone else? Ever. Why would you? How could it possibly make you feel right about yourselves that you're bullying this person? What do you say to yourself about it? How do you sleep? What do you look in the mirror? Do you get charged up in the beginning of every day and say, who can I go get today? Who can I go make feel bad? How could you possibly not realize that that behavior, that will follow you in life forever? And if it goes as far as any of the aforementioned examples, it will even completely ruin your life. just like it does the victims, in a different way, but it's going to ruin your life. Although in those cases, I believe those lives should have been ruined. People should be put in prison. They should be absolutely 100%. Your life should be ruined. But why? Can't you just avoid the whole thing? And then the list of people I mentioned from the beginning at the top of this video would still be with us. You wouldn't have bullied. Maybe you wouldn't be in jail. If you're guilty or feeling remorse, you wouldn't have that. Why not just not bully? I don't understand bullying. And I'll be honest with you. I've never been bullied and I've never bullied. But I've seen it. I've seen it. And I raised my daughter to say, I used to always say to her, if you ever are in school or you're ever, and somebody looks, not even bullied, just out of place, they don't know what to do, or they don't, go to that person. I raised her the opposite. Go to that person. Help that person. Right? And you know, I'm sorry. I have never been very forgiving when it comes to the bullying thing. Because people come up with, oh, you know, they might have been, you know, abused and they might have been raised by a bully. And I understand. I do understand all of that. But I implore upon you again, if you are a bully that's listening, and you maybe start to see maybe there's a different way. You don't have to do what the bully who raised you did. Because a lot of times that can be. You see a bully child, you're going to see a bully parent. But not always. Not always. It might just be a child who thinks they're entitled to behave any way that they want. Ooh, what does that sound like on this Off Topic Friday? A narcissist. A narcissist is definitely a bully. What they do to us, they're being a bully. Another element that I just can't stand about their whole disorder. Because it's like, again, who do you think you are? I have to know. I got to know what they're thinking. Who is it that you think you're so much better than everybody else? Because number one, even if you are better than everybody else, you would use that to make someone else feel bad about themselves? Wouldn't you want to use you being better and stronger about everybody else and maybe try to lift people up? How about trying to lift people up? You know, I hopefully think that we all age eventually, and hopefully we grow to knowing what's right and what's wrong. I mean, unless, of course, you carry such deplorable behavior right into your adulthood, which can happen. But I ask you, why don't you just grow up now and evolve? I put evolve, you apes. In my blog, I was very, very, very livid when I wrote this article. Reading all of the things that I had told you at the top. I was ripe with anger when I wrote this. Realize now what you hopefully will later on, either by the terribly unfortunate circumstance in which you will land, which may very well include jail, or perhaps a conscience that develops for you, maybe, in some form, from that, I wrote pea brain of yours. I probably meant pea-sized brain. I was mad. I get very mad. But why don't you grow up before you ruin anyone's life, including your own? Things today have consequences. We talked about that last week. Not sure what Will Smith's consequence will be for hitting Chris Rock. I think it's not going to have one. Maybe. I don't know. But his consequence is his penance to carry that for the rest of his life. What he did to Chris Rock. That's his consequence. That's his penance. There may not be punishment for him. But before you have to ruin anyone's life or your own or carry regret, think about it. Do you have siblings? Do you want children? Karma, I'm telling you, will come get you. She's a lunatic. She will visit you in one way or another at some point in your life, and she will cast her wrath upon you. I 100% guarantee that. How do I know? I just do. So are you right now someone else's child? Are you making them proud with your bully behavior? These are all the questions I want to ask bullies. Are you the parents of someone who is bullying and you're ignoring it, sweeping it under the carpet? Do you have multiple children and one is bullying the other? That can happen all the time. I talked about that with narcissistic parents a few videos back, several now videos back. You have multiple children. One is trying to explain to you that one of them is bullying them, and you're just aloof as a parent, and you ignore it, and you don't pay it any mind. And little do you know, that narcissistic child of yours is torturing the death out of their sibling and enjoying it. They're not getting it nipped in the bud. They're going to grow up to be a bully. They're going to grow up to be a bully. And you know, I feel like, did the parent teach the behavior to the child? Could be a whole video in and of itself. Because we do learn from our examples, right? We definitely do. And if you are someone that you think, wow, I kind of am like a little bit of a bully. If you're the parent who does the bullying, why is it that you think you are better than the next person? I just really don't get it. I don't get it. Because I've never once thought in my entire life, yeah, I'm better than that person. I'm going to make them feel bad about themselves. Who does that? A bully does that. A bully does that. And it has always been a hot button of mine. Now, nowadays, there's an entire, and even then, because I wrote an article before this one about the Facebook bullying, which indicates all of social media now, of course, right? It's gotten onto the social media, and people are cyberbullied, and or bullied very, very subtly. You might be the kind of person who knows you're doing damage, but it's going to be kind of quiet. I had a person Facebook bully me. They would and it was a person in my inner circle, and they would very obviously like, love, comment, dote on every person everywhere, strangers to them. And it became obvious to me one time. Now, I don't post a lot, but it came obvious to me one time. I put a picture on there or something, like memory comes up, and I was like, oh, da-da-da-da-da. And it happened to get, because it was a fun picture, I don't know, like over 100 likes or whatever. And that person, from my inner circle, nothing. Nothing. And I noticed it was a pattern. And I thought, they refuse to bring me joy. They refuse to take part in anything feeding me anything positive, because they wanted to continue to make me feel pain, anguish, by noticing that. And you might say, well, that's really going far. No, if you knew the circumstances, you'd know exactly that I am correct. And that's just one way. Cyberbullying can be very, very outright. And that without looking it up, there have been plenty of news stories where the parents even took part in cyberbullying a classmate of their child. God help you, a parent. So not only are you not teaching your children that this is not the way to be, but you're perpetuating it? And you're bullying a child? What kind of person are these? I become very incensed. I become completely ignited with fire when it comes to this topic. Because all I want to do is reach out to the person being bullied. I want to yell at the person doing the bullying. I want to punish the person doing the bullying. And the bad part of me is I want to make the bully feel terrible about themselves. And the fact is, they might be being bullied at home. The bully. That's the sad part. If everyone's a minor and everyone concerned is a minor, then you got to wonder, what is that bully in school going through at home? It doesn't mean we should take it. It doesn't mean they have the right to dish it out. Certainly not in the extreme examples I gave at the top of this video. God help them. But I want to know the answer to the question, Who do they think they are? Every time I see bullying in a movie, read it in a book, read it in an article, that's the question that comes to my head. I'm like, but I don't understand who they think they are. You're going to make fun of somebody because their feet are swollen while they're pregnant. Are you kidding me? Have you ever been pregnant? Have your feet ever been swollen? Have you ever been in love and jumped up on the furniture to express it? Who cares? These little things, we're so what? Unhappy in your life that you have to pick on someone else's happiness? That's supposed to be a joyous time in her life, that she's pregnant with her first child. You're going to make fun of her because she has swollen feet? Think that through. She's pregnant. There's so much when it comes to bullying that I don't understand. And the online thing has opened it up to that. It can just be that much more. It can come from that many more avenues. And you know, people are bullied online sometimes in the quiet little way I just told you about. You know, they won't like your things, they won't comment on your things. But in order to be affected by the bullying, you'd have to place stock in the action and the person who does it and the situation and circumstance at hand. I did not place any stock in the person who did it, so I was safe. But a lot of people are very sensitive. And I'm not saying it didn't, obviously it struck me because I can remember it like it was yesterday. But some people have a bug in their bonnet and they just refuse to send love in a certain direction. Yet, that very person will give it out freely on the side of the highway to anyone who listens. To a stranger, they'll give it. Because why? They want to be liked. They want to draw that person into them. If they're in your little circle and you bother them because you've been having too much of a good week and they're going to put you in your place, they're not interested in making you love them. You already do. They're in your circle. But they're going to take any moment they can to bring you down. You have people like that in your life, I bet. And it's a terrible way to be. And the person in your life who is that way could be a narcissist. I'm not saying they all are. But bullying is certainly something the narcissist does, which of what we normally talk about on this channel, not on an off-topic Friday, is the narcissist. They certainly are bullies. Oh my God. Anyone who inflicts harm on someone else and they did nothing to deserve it, that's a bully. And furthermore, the bully generally gets some kind of charge out of it. That's a dysfunction that's way beyond the scope of my understanding. And we can come up with reasons. They were raised a certain way. Yeah, okay. You know what? You're not responsible for what happens to you as a child, but you darn well are responsible for how you behave in life once you're a certain age. Certainly by adulthood. And by high school, I think we all know what's right or wrong at this point. I think you know if you're being mean to someone, and I think you know that that's not the way to be. So again, my question to you is, who do you think you are that you can act that way? Who? I would love an answer. Well, you what? What? Because I've been asking this question for decades, and I've never gotten a good answer. I've spoken to bullies. I don't know. I don't know. They can't speak. They don't know why. And you know, it's pretty obvious that if you are wrapped up in the world of bullying in any way, and you feel the only way out is to quit the organization, quit the school, quit life, it got pretty bad. So my question always is, what's happening around the bully? Nobody's saying anything? Nobody's curbing their behavior? Nobody's nipping it in the bud? Nobody's making them have consequences? So people are ignoring it. You're ignoring it? The kid comes home from school and tells you something. The kid goes to you as a teacher or a principal and tells you something. You sense something, but you ignore it. Why? This person's life is being ill-affected on a daily basis and you're not going to say anything? How could you live with yourself? I'd be the first one to say something, and I'm telling you, that's how I raised my daughter. If anyone gets mistreated, you say something. You don't just sit back and let it happen. And I wanted to bring this up because it is a topic, the hot button for me, if anyone were to say, what's your biggest, this is it. Bullying is it. I don't get it. I don't like it. Who does like it? Well, I think sometimes the bully likes it. But I implore upon you, challenge the bully. If you see it, ask them. And see, I say it and I would be like, I would interrogate. I'd be like, who do you think you are? Like, don't even say it that mean. Just be like, okay, so please explain to me where your mindset is that you thought doing this would be a good idea. I gotta know. Okay, go, talk. And let the bully talk. I gotta know. Who is it that they think they are, that they can mistreat other people and just have it be accepted as that was okay? You know, if you consider the source and you start to realize that the person who is doing the bullying is a lesser than person, then maybe you can file it under their dysfunction. And there is nothing wrong with you. I don't care if you're pregnant with swollen feet. I don't care if you're jumping on a couch because you're in love. I don't care if you're gay, you don't dress well, you're poor. I don't care the reason. Anything. Wouldn't you reach out to the person like that? Wouldn't you open your heart to someone like that? Isn't that a much more constructive way to deal? But no. There is a vindictive quality that exists in some people. And online, the cyberbullying has made it all the easier. You see it all the time. People in the comment sections of things, and they like jump on a person, and the thread goes off on a tangent that wasn't even the original post because somebody's bullying someone about the way they worded something or something they said. Or why so much hatred? I don't understand it. Why is your heart filled with, you're just looking for things to jump on? Cyber has taken it to the nth degree. Please, if you know anybody that's being bullied, or if you know anyone that is bullying, maybe sit them down and say, okay, is there a reason? Do you think that brings you a sense of power? Is it bringing you a sense of joy? Does it bring you a sense of accomplishment to win something over someone because you're not winning anywhere else in life? Do you feel that's the only way to expunge or expel, I should say, your own pain is to put it onto someone else? Well, get a handle on it. Please get help. Make someone you know get help. And if you have children, multiple, and one is trying to explain to them, listen, because that could be the case. And that could have detrimental effects that they carry. I know all too many families, two specifically in my mind, and the adult children now have lasting effects from their siblings bullying them that they deal with all the time. They have to process things all the time because their parents fluffed it away as nothing, and it was pretty bad what their two siblings did to them. It was pretty bad, and they were ignored. And that can make you feel bad. You're trying to explain it to someone. You finally get up the courage, and then they just sweep it under the rug. I really implore upon you to take this very seriously and share this video, please. I'd like to help stop this. The bullying, for me, I think that's why the narcissistic personality disorder hit me so hard when I started to learn about it, is because I see bullying in them also, and I find it unacceptable. My heart goes out to anyone that's going through it, and I would like the people that are inflicting the harm to try to reach out and get some help. Or, if you know them, reach out to try to help them. And the question always is, because I want to know the answer, why do you think you can do that? Who do you think you are, bully, that you can inflict harm upon another person? Who are you? Who? You're way above everybody else? Oh, are you? Because let me tell you something. Nobody's above anybody else. In my book, we're all even. But even if you were above everybody else, Mother Teresa, she would never have bullied anybody. Think about it. Please go ahead and hit sub, like, and share, and I'll see you next time. And I thank you for watching. This is a very tender topic. And I didn't get so incensed. Like, I can really get crazy when it comes to this topic. So, I can breathe now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.